to GTU Diversity Matters, and that includes in the workplace. Stacey Burnell, a commissioner with the Ogden City Diversity Commission. She's an author, she's a TEDx speaker, she's a nonprofit founder. You're a busy girl.
A little bit. I do some things.
Weigh in on this for us. Why does diversity matter in the workplace?
Diversity, it matters everywhere, but certainly in the workforce, because research shows that more diverse companies, they perform better, they enjoy higher profits, and they have happier employees. And who doesn't want that, right?
It's a buzzword right now. It was a buzzword in 2020, and here we are now in 2021. But it's not just about race.
It's not. And, so back to it being a buzzword, absolutely. And I think it's stigmatized in a lot of ways. And I think because people do make that really quick association that it means we're going to be talking about black versus white. We're going to be talking about these really controversial topics just around race. And it's so much more than that. So we're also talking about marginalized communities that include, women. Utah has one of the worst gender wage gaps in the nation. We're talking about LGBTQ communities. We're talking about disabled people. So diversity is a very, very broad spectrum.
You mentioned Utah. How are we doing as a state when it comes to this?
Like I said, we're not doing great with the gender wage gap. And, I think with Governor Cox and already signing this compact that he signed, I think we're on the upswing. But I would say there's a lot of work to be done.
How do we inspire businesses and organizations to be more diverse?
It starts at the top. So the people who are sitting at the tables making the decisions, someone at that table needs to take a look around and see if diversity is being represented. Are there enough women at the table? Are there enough minority voices at the table? And I think, there's kind of this idea that, Utah just doesn't have a lot of diversity, and how do we find them?
We've heard that. We've all heard that before.
We all have heard that. I've heard that a lot. And especially since I've joined the Diversity Commission, and I've also recently joined the NAACP in Ogden, there's so much more out there, I think, than we realize, because if we continue to stay in our circles, our social circles, where we feel comfortable and where we feel like we're around people who they look like us, they think like us, then of course nothing's ever going to change. You have to make that conscious effort to kind of rock that status quo and to get out of your circles of comfort.
Stacey, the bottom line is we can do better. Everyone watching, me included, we can do better.
Absolutely.
When it comes to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how do we start those conversations? They're tough. Where do they start?
Yeah. They start at home. For me, I have my 15-year-old son is autistic. And navigating that world of neurodiversity has really what has propelled me into this space of what now is kind of social justice. Because I see how the world looks at him and treats him. And I'm a mama bear. So I had to put myself out there and kind of be that voice for him. And then as I've gotten into that space, I've seen how it is for women. I've seen how it is for LGBTQ and then our, Black, Indigenous people of color. So it started in the home for me, and I think that's really what others have to do.
And would that be your message to our viewers today if they say, I want to do better? Mm-hmm. What would be, what have you seen? What have you done that's made a difference?
So I created an autism event in my community called Awesome Autistic Ogden. I wrote about it in my book. I have a book out called The Things We Don't Talk About. I speak about it in my TEDx talk. And the fact that I'm here today talking about it, it's extremely uncomfortable. I know that there are people who hear the word diversity and they automatically get defensive. So if you want to be a part of the change, you have to put yourself out there and be willing.
What do you mean when you say, like you and I were talking on the commercial break, and you said, I'm probably going to make people uncomfortable?
So as an example, my first experience with the Diversity Commission was on a Zoom call in May, and we were Zoom bombed. We were Zoom bombed with hate speech and racist slurs. And it was a huge eye-opening experience for me because I knew that we had these issues. I knew that racism was a problem, but to experience it so up close and personal and realize that, when people talk about it being a fight and a battle, it truly is. And so we were attacked solely because our meeting said Diversity Commission. And so someone out there in the ether world decided they were going to attack us because of the word diversity.
If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Yeah.
You're not changing.
Gotta grow.
We're going to have those conversations. Mm-hmm. And if you do, the positive effects of diversity in the workplace and at home are what?
Creating the world that we want to see and being the example for others. Because I think, people keep talking about how courageous I am. I don't feel courageous. My voice shakes every time I speak about it. But I'm leaving a legacy for my child, for more diverse people, for more women of color, to have the courage to move in and own their story and take up their space.
Stacey, if people want to learn more from you and contact you on what they can do to be part of the movement, all your information is right there on the screen. Diversity training at cstacyspeaks.com. She's also on social media at cstacyspeaks, and we'll link you from our website at abc4.com/GTU. Thank you so much
Thank you so
for
much.
having that conversation with us on GTU.
Absolutely.
Up next, it's our parenting moment. Brian, we're talking about open adoption.